We have been to US Africa. We have been to some other engagement with other countries. Now we have been invited for Russia-Africa summit. We have made a decision, very respectfully as heads of state in Africa, that any engagement with other partners must be an engagement of equals. And for it to be meaningful, if we are going to meet the president of a country, we have organized ourselves that the Troika is going to represent Africa. So we go to a meeting, just explain to me what kind of outcome you expect where 50 heads of state are sitting. Everybody is asked for speak to 1.5 minutes. You speak to one for 1.5 minutes. What kind of engagement are you going to get? You're going to get nothing. The best that you get is photographs.
A standing ovation greeted President William Ruto during a Pan-African Parliament summit held in South Africa in May 2023, symbolizing a rising perception of him as a champion for the continent. This acknowledgement underscored his dedication to combating the mistreatment of African leaders by developed countries. In yet another conference held in Nairobi in April 2023, Ruto expressed his frustration, likening the treatment of African heads of state to that of schoolchildren. This reference stemmed from an incident where African heads of state were transported by bus in the United Kingdom during the funeral service of the late Queen Elizabeth II, while the US President Joe Biden and his wife were transported in an armored presidential limousine.
And sometimes we are mistreated.
Yeah.
You know, we are loaded into buses like school kids. You know, and it's not right.
Such instances garnered significant acclaim for him, leading political analysts to draw comparisons between him and notable Pan-African figures, such as Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah and Libya's Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Some envisioned him as a potential successor to the legacy of the late South African president Nelson Mandela. Indeed, many perceived Ruto as the key figure to achieve the long-desired unity of Africa. Fast forward to January 2024, President Ruto was among other African leaders who participated in the recently concluded Africa-Italy summit in Rome, which was hosted by Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, seemingly having forgotten what he said not too long ago.
We have made the decision that it is not intelligent for 54 of us to go and sit before one gentleman from another place. Why are you inviting 50 people unless you want to sabotage the whole discussion? As you have said, if we don't respect ourselves, nobody is going to respect us. And we should be able to take that kind of decision. Yeah. And part of that respecting ourselves is when we say African problems, African solutions. We must be serious about the solutions. It cannot be rhetoric. It cannot be talk. It must be accompanied by what realistically and practically we are doing. You get these photographs, they normally line us up somewhere, you know, crowd of 50 heads of state, you know, and that's all we come home with.
President Ruto's stance on international matters has shifted a couple of times before, and Kenyans know this better than anyone else. After the October incursion of Israel by Hamas, Ruto openly contradicted Africa Union's position by declaring that Kenya stands with Israel, while the AU chairperson unequivocally stated that the Palestinian people were denied the right to an independent and sovereign state. However, President Ruto retracted his statement later during a visit to Saudi Arabia for the Saudi-Africa summit held in November, where various African leaders were again lined up for a group photo.
Terrorism cannot be an answer to any conflict. Neither is occupation. We believe that Palestine should be a free state, and we stand for a two-nation solution as a means of resolving the conflict.
In yet another incident, upon assuming the presidency in September 2022, Ruto severed ties with the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, only to hastily reverse the decision. These few instances underscore his inconsistencies, not to mention a few others, such as abandoning the de-dollarization campaign and his alignment with Western powers, a position he appeared hesitant about earlier in his term.
I thank President Ruto of I thank him for his willingness to serve as the lead nation of a UN-backed security support mission.
Back in Kenya, citizens have criticized Ruto for doublespeak, citing unfulfilled campaign promises, such as unprecedented tax hikes leading to high cost of living. Nevertheless, Ruto is not an isolated case. His inconsistency on numerous matters mirrors that of other African leaders who often fail to uphold their professed principles. Despite Africa's abundant resources, these leaders lack a coherent plan to harness them for the advancement of their impoverished citizens, thereby perpetuating dependence on former colonial powers. What are your reflections on this? Feel free to drop your comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and activate the notification bell. Goodbye for now.